The creative cooks are not happy with this recipe. So this is an incident that happened this week where Maxon posted some AI art on one of their thumbnails. Had nothing to do with the actual content of the video. It was on VFX and Chill. And I'll preface this by saying that the people at Maxon are our friends, and the people at VFX and Chill are our friends. And this goes back to last week's conversation. The Wacom incident happened, and then if you're a company that is making those types of tools, right, that maybe it's not the best idea to be using AI because it kind of like undermines yourself, right? So I'm guessing they didn't listen to that episode because Maxon, did this week. But Hashi and Seth they stated actually that they really didn't think it through, and I completely understand that because this is a callback from something that they did last year, right? They were doing I think it was a video where they were doing some character rigging type stuff, and you could put it into like a photo of somebody. So they had this AI photo, I think, and they like used the motion to like make it animate or something. Not a big deal. And all it was that the thumbnail was a callback to like this thing that they did a long time ago, had absolutely nothing to do with the video. And we use AI art in what we do, like Camp Mograph stuff and Mograph stuff, whatever. There's backgrounds, there's things. I use AI art, and it doesn't mean that I'm not aware of some of the ethical implications, right? Like, I'm concerned with it as well, so, don't get me wrong on that. It's just, I think everybody's excited about it. Everybody's excited about AI art when it comes to, like, the technology. When it comes to the other issues, that's a different story, but we nerd out. We're nerds. We're artists, we're tech nerds, and somebody comes out with a cool AI tool. I'm not necessarily talking about just AI art stuff. I'm talking about ChatGPT and all these things that you can use to help you in your day-to-day. We nerd out about it. And Hashi and Seth are the same type of people, right? We hang out with them at events, and they come to stuff. And Justin, is this an AI-generated George Lucas on Mograph podcast? Off to Twitter I go. We hang out with these people. We know who they are, right? And we're just nerds messing around with things. And the problem is that when you work for somebody else, you got to go by their rules. So I understand. I understand that situation, I think, and I understand their enthusiasm for it. We sit here and we talk about how to integrate AI into your workflow as an artist. How can you make your life easier? How can AI make all of our lives easier? So when you're doing stuff and you're enthusiastic, you're not thinking about that at the time, and that's where I feel kind of bad about it. But then again, if you're trying to sell a tool by using a tool that could potentially put you out of business, it's not the best decision ever, right? And apparently that is their policy at Maxon. However,
and I think there's a scalability part of it too, where, like you said, at Camp Mograph, you guys are using AI to help generate like images to fill in for promotional materials. But you're a team of 4 friends working together as a passion project to make this huge thing to give back to the community. Contrast that with larger companies that have, hundreds of employees. It seems almost like a disservice where you want to really give time to promote the artists and support the artists, mm-hmm. so the artists continue to buy from you. So I think the difference there a little bit is just the scale, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, they said it wouldn't happen again. They put up an apology, Maxon did, and I don't know. I feel like it's a lot. I feel like it's a bit much. I feel like the apology was like almost too much, in my opinion. Like, just the over apology. What's the word I'm looking for?
Just being over apologetic.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like a lot. I don't think there's any reason to be this apologetic. Actually, let's watch a clip right here, because we actually have a couple clips of the apology video that Seth and Hashi made.
Generated imagery in a post that Maxon made promoting our show VFX and Chill. And for a company that makes useful and diverse tools for artists, that was pretty stupid.
This image was not intended to be endorsing the unethical use of AI, nor was it intended to deceive anyone into thinking we used a Maxon tool to create such a objectively subpar piece of work. Bottom line, using it was stupid.
And also not to mention against Maxon policies. Maxon has always celebrated artists, because without artists, the tools that Maxon creates wouldn't have any purpose. We shouldn't have done it, and we won't do it again. Period. VFX and Chill is a show about figuring out techniques and solutions to problems faced by visual effects artists, as well as, and this is important, exploring many of the tools that artists create with. Some of those are tools that were created at Maxon, like Cinema 4D and ZBrush, and some are created by others, like After Effects. And there's no question that machine learning tools are becoming more and more part of the modern artist's tool set. So we've talked about them.
Yeah.
So these guys have a passion for digital tools, and same as us, and they're enjoying trying to figure out how to put them in their workflow and telling people what they learned about them and all of that. So I love the passion that they have, and I hope that they weren't too hard on themselves. I think that because they are employed by somebody, and I'm not going to, I don't want to speculate too much and say, they got reprimanded. I don't know. But because they had to do an apology, there's probably something there, and they work for somebody. So they've got to abide by those rules. But I feel bad because I know what happens on the internet when people get their pitchforks out, right? It just makes you feel crappy. Twitter is such a freaking hate fest to me, in my opinion. And just the pitchforks come out, and you guys realize that these two guys are probably working hard to get this stuff out. Now, just put that thing in there. It was not like they were sitting there plotting.
Be meticulous.
Yes,
we're going to overthrow. No.
And they admitted to the mistake, and that's fine. And it's just if they hear this, I hope you guys were not too hard on yourselves. I feel like the internet and people's comments on the internet it's not balanced, right? You go to Amazon, and what happens? I'm going to look up this product. Oh, this product sucks because it was missing a sticker, and and it's just all the bad things. You just get all the bad things on Twitter. So there might be 1,000 people that saw that. There might be 100,000 people that saw that. And I don't know how many views the tweet got, right? But that compared to how many people were actually upset, and then the amount of people that were so upset that they had to completely bash. I feel like it's just a bash fest. I feel like it's just
the moral of the story. Don't read the comments.
Yeah, or I guess don't post on social anymore at all, right? Think about if anybody did this stuff and there were no comments, right? Say that the comments didn't exist, and say that the social aspect, the Twitter threads and things like that didn't exist. Your life would still go on. Nothing is going to. You know what I mean? It's just like the comparison of when you're sitting in your office and you got all the weight of the world on your head, and you've got all the anxieties and the pressures and all the other stuff. If there was an alien looking down at you, they would just see somebody sitting at a desk, right? Those things are just so in another universe. I feel like when you do things, it's just, and people don't like it, it's amplified on the internet like that. It's all it does for those people is nothing. They write their comment and they get on with their day. And all it does for you is make you feel bad about things that maybe are disproportionately brought up, if that makes sense, right?
And that is why my favorite place to cry is in the shower.
Because there's no internet. So, yeah. The internet's a tough place. Really tough place. So, end rant, I guess. So just keep doing what you're doing. You know, don't worry about it. I hope they didn't read the comments, because it just sucks. It makes you not want to. I know. I guess I've had similar things happen in the past. It's like it just makes you not want to do it anymore. But then you're not realizing that, you know, the 0.001% of people who are upset about something don't represent the 99.9999% out there that actually are enjoying what you're doing. So what are you supposed to do? You can't.
Honestly,
make everybody
you just brush it off and you keep moving forward, because that's where we get confidence from. That's how we learn as we grow as individuals. If we just let that first little bump stop us from going forward, we're never going to accomplish what's on the other side. And that's everything from posting on the internet to even just posting a single piece of art or anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just got to keep being committed, keep trying, keep going forward, keep
Right.
going forward. We're going to make mistakes. It's not going to be perfect. And honestly, if anybody says that they had an easy road or a perfect road to get there, they're lying.
And you don't
So-
want to have to sit there and second guess everything that you're doing. These guys now, do you not think they're going to second guess everything that they're doing now?
Oh,
Before
absolutely.
they post it? Is this okay? Is somebody going to get upset about it? Like, I don't want to live like that. I don't.
No.
So-
At some point, you put it out there. It's out there. You move forward, and you just make the next day a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
My one of my best friends worded it so elegantly. My goal in life is just to be a better person tomorrow than I was today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's go to this poll here, which is, what should creative tool companies do? Should they fully embrace AI? Should they take a balanced approach to AI, or should they just pretend that AI doesn't exist? Right? Like, think about Maxon, right? Should they just pretend that AI isn't here? Is that the best way to go about it? Should they address the ethical concerns that many of us, are, including myself, have with AI being used because of where it's being trained? That's the thing, right? We're in the Napster days. We're stealing Metallica songs in MP3 right now. That's where we're at. We, you know, and that's what happened. And did we completely say we're not going to have digital music online? Did we say we're never going to sell MP3s on the internet because of that? Because it was violating copyright? No. Some great people out there came up with solutions for it. Now, it might not be the best solutions. You still look at Spotify and people making, what, 0.01 cents per stream. But I think even for a long time, like, I was guilty of it. I was pirating movies off the internet when it was first possible, right? Like, there's legal avenues now, which are actually easier than the illegal avenues. Remember BitTorrent? Did you ever, you know, and you had to get the little
I was
pieces.
never involved.
But you have
Like,
to,
I'm aware of the process, but I never experimented.
I mean, that, or did you do Napster? Did you do?
Oh yeah, LimeWire, Kazaa
LimeWire,
back in the day. Oh
Getting
yeah.
all them viruses on your computer.
Oh man, my computer hated me.
But it was an ethics concern, right? And after you start learning about it, you're like, oh, okay, I see. You know, and I love AI. I love AI. I love AI art for inspiration. You know, when I'm trying to get ideas flowing and things, I love using. Jen says bear share. I remember that one too. I remember learning about why it was bad to pirate. You know, and then I saw that commercial. You wouldn't download a car, would you? And it changed everything.
I do have a 3D printer, so I totally would.
Yeah, you can download a car now. Yeah, Pirate Bay. And so, but now, like, if I want to watch a movie, I'm paying $2.99 on Amazon. I don't want to go through all that trouble. I'm like, this is cool and this is legit and it's affordable, you know. So I feel like that kind of thing is going to happen in AI. And the thing is, AI is not going away. We can't pretend AI doesn't exist. If you're making creative tools, you really have to think about you really have to think about what you're advertising. If it's detrimental to your company, then, you know. But for the most part, I think everybody else is going to probably sit through this just like we did when Napster happened, right? we're going to see changes. We're going to see people doing the right thing. For a while, I was really happy that Adobe was doing the right thing, right? They started doing their stock stuff, and we're making sure that it wasn't being stolen from artists. And they even had, I believe, a tag. And I haven't actually looked and confirmed this, but somebody told me in the Monday meeting this morning that they took away the ability to say whether or not something was AI, and that disappoints me because that feels like a step in the wrong direction. Companies like ArtStation, I believe, do that. So you have a tag that says this is AI. People can filter the AI stuff out if they want. And now there's new technologies coming out too. Like there's a technology that is able to basically poison the photos so that AI can't scrape them. So we're going to see technologies like that come out, just like copyright protection and everything else. And so I'm hoping that it takes a turn in the right direction. But again, it's not going away, right? So
No.
as an artist, what are your options? You can decide to not use it, which is fine. You can decide not to consume it. I feel like if Maxon wants to make, which they don't. Again, their policy is not to post it. This was an accident. But let's talk about like maybe some of the people who are purposely doing it, like the college I was talking about last year. The art college that is telling you to come and learn how to do art and using AI art for the ad. Like, you're only hurting yourself. But I don't feel any reason to be upset at them for using that, honestly, because it's only hurting them.
It really boils down to a dollars and cents perspective. As a business, I can be like, hey, I can get this product for so much cheaper. Therefore, I don't have to worry about hiring artists, or I don't have to worry about this, and I don't have to worry about XYZ. If that person goes off and does something crazy and there's a lawsuit that's reflecting badly on my stuff, I don't have to worry about it. So from a business perspective, I see the temptation there. Mm-hmm. But especially when it's working with the people that you want to ask money from. Hey, we're an art school. I want to teach you to be an artist and make cool stuff. That seems like a really bad use case. Same thing as with Wacom when they did their thing last week or 2 weeks ago. So I don't know who had this idea, but I saw it somewhere on LinkedIn where rather than saying, hey, we're using this AI art, why don't we just say, hey, we're going to open a contest up here. All the artists submit their cool artwork. If you want to be featured on our social channel, be featured in our product here, and then just use that community to supplement your marketing, and then give shout out to the people that created that content in the first place. Mm-hmm. So now not only are you building community, you're supporting a community, and you're giving love and attention to the people who are promoting your products.
I mean, look at our countdown
just
on the
as
show.
Expensive.
Our countdown on the show starts out with some of Rev's work,
Yeah.
promoting Rev's work, and rather than having like some AI visuals at the beginning, right?
Absolutely.
So the thing is that, where was I going to go with that Maxon thing? If I don't know. I don't remember what I was going to say. I had a good point, but I'll probably remember it later. Justin says those poison technologies have all been proven to be completely useless and incapable of making impact whatsoever. Oh. Well, I guess Midjourney CEO talked about it. That's very interesting. That was kind of the way I looked at it. People find copyright around copyright protection, right? So they like figure out how to block Napster, and you figure out a way to get around it. Like everybody's always figuring out a way to get around this stuff. Yeah. But it's coming. What do you do? Do you quit? Do you quit the industry?
I think honestly we get to a point where it's so recognizable, it's boring. When you can point out and recognize things that are AI art, you're just going to be like, okay, that's fine, but I want something that's actually got some soul to it or some reality to it, some passion to it, because it's just going to become noise, and it's not going to help businesses in the long run.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. I was using a lot of, and I still do, use a lot of Midjourney just to get ideas. And and it used to be that I would come up with all these ideas and then I would present them to clients. And now I'm getting more clients that are using it themselves to come up with the ideas, sending me the Midjourney and saying, hey, can you make this? Because they still know they can't do anything with that image. They can't animate it. They can't do subtle changes. They can make the logo bigger, but they can't oh, change the lighting, move it over 0.1 to the left. Midjourney's not going to do that for you. It's going to give you a brand new image.
Yeah.
If you animate it, if you've tried to animate any of this stuff with Runway or whatever, you can't do what you want to do. Sorry, go ahead.
And that's a fantastic use case because, pre-Midjourney, we would spend hours and hours and hours going through Pinterest and curating boards and go, okay, how can I have these mood boards and reference images and ideas that none of which really can convey the emotion or the style or the look you're trying to achieve, especially when you're chasing a specific client project. So just for reference, one of the projects that we finished up recently at Hyperfocus, we spent like the first day just generating hundreds of images in Midjourney that could represent these abstract things just to get out of our own brains and say, let's break the confines of what we've trained ourselves on and just get something that's new, kind of exciting. And it unlocked so many cool opportunities and potential that we would not have seen otherwise. Now, granted, we didn't just say, this is what we're doing, let's go animate it. We then took everything into Illustrator, recreated everything from scratch, and we just pulled the inspiration from those pieces.
Right.
And I think it's an okay use case for AI. I really
believe
do.
So too. I don't know if everybody's going to agree with that, but I do agree with that because the other alternative to that is going on Google image search and getting photos from those artists that maybe those were scraped for. Everybody
so it's the
does
same
that.
thing.
Everybody has been doing that. And so the only difference is there's kind of an actual traceable path to that, right? Like if I were to take some Beeple stuff and some David Ariev stuff and put it in a board and get some inspiration, am I stealing from them? Because it's all art is just taking ideas from other artists. So that I think the one thing that people would say as the gotcha on that is, well, you're paying for it with Midjourney, right? So you are supporting them for what they're doing, and I can see how people would be, would say that. You know what I mean?
There is a good point you make there about discoverability of finding new people. If I find one artist repeatedly that I like their images, I'm much more likely to go track that artist down and say, hey, we've got a project coming up. Do you want to be a freelancer with us, or would you help us with this project, collab, etc.? You do lose that with Midjourney, and you are paying for it. So that is a very good point that I did not consider.
But I like what Jen says here. Fashion industry runway knockoffs ready to wear hit the stores the following week. You can only copyright the brand, logo, and name. To the true originators will still make money. Does Rolex not sell Rolexes anymore?
Good point.
They still, you know how many knockoffs there are. That's a good point. And she says it's going to come down to copyright laws, which it is, because if they're using the copyrighted material for it, they have to have permission. So the only way, see, this is tough because the only way that this would change is if like the AI became like fully sentient, right? So let's say the AI becomes conscious, and we all agree within this world that AI is conscious, okay? And it's a sentient being. Are we still going to say that because it looked at 1,000 photos of other people's work that it's stealing?
Well, that all depends on its ability to make a joke.
Right, that's true. Very true. Here, dang. And that's kind of it, right? Like, the only difference between AI scraping it and coming up with something and me scraping it is coming up with something is my eyes are only going to remember so many images and things that I've seen before I put it together and build something based on what those artists did, right? Yeah. So the problem that we have is that it's able to do it so well.
Truly.
I mean,
truly, I agree.
If I had a super crazy IQ and some weird, like, crazy, like, I don't know, brain thing where I was, like, able to remember every single, what is it called? There is a name. Some people do have this. It's
the photorealistic memory or photogenic memory.
The woman from, but more than that, it's like hyper. Like, I have a photographic memory, but I can't remember everything I've ever seen. The woman who's on Taxi, she can remember everything. What's her name? She can remember everything she's seen. She can tell you what date it was that day because she can see the calendar. I mean, it's crazy, right? So what if she looked at 100,000 images of AI art? And what if she became a really good artist? And what if she was really good at cinema and rendering? And she used the same, like, 100,000 photos that Midjourney used to create her own art. Is she violating copyright law?
Speculation. I don't feel comfortable.
So now we're
answering
coming
any of
down
this.
to whether or not it's an organic computer or a physical metal silicon computer. That's remembering the things and imitating it.
Eidetic memory, Jen
Eidetic
says.
memory. Thank you.
Eidetic memory.
I'm just saying. I'm just putting a lot of what ifs there. I'm not really trying to defend anything or anything else. I'm really just trying to get into a deep discussion about it, because now we're just talking about what computer is doing the plagiarism. A human computer or a man-made computer? Something to think about.
I think that use case is so far in between and so far above my mental capacity that I'm not going to lose any sleep over it.
What happens when we integrate technology into our bodies? What happens when you have more memory because you can offload your brain back and forth onto a computer, and we have implants and things? What happens when we can remember everything that we see for that reason? And then we create art. Are we not artists anymore? Expand your mind,
I don't like
man.
this. I don't like this at all.
I swear I didn't smoke any weed before this. Anywho, okay. Poll reminder. First of all, poll reminder. I'll bring it back up so in case anybody wants to get the QR code, you can check it out. See if I'll try and refresh this and see if we got any, but I didn't really leave the QR code up there for long, so give a chance for people to get this QR code right here and scan it and tell us what you think creative tool companies should do. Fully embrace AI, give a balanced approach, or just pretend that AI doesn't exist at all. So poll reminder on that, and we will be right back.